ADCC is
the best jiu-jitsu tournament on the planet.
This enormous grappling competition that's the most prestigious grappling event in the world.
This is the Olympics of grappling.
Way back in 1998, an ambitious Sheik jiu-jitsu enthusiast put together what he thought was the perfect submission fighting rule set and funded the ultimate competition in the pretty new sport of grappling. In the early days of the event, it was all about finding out which corner of the world had the best grappling art that they could use to submit their opponents. So the Abu Dhabi Combat Club was born, and fighters all around the world with all kinds of different backgrounds in jiu-jitsu, wrestling, pancration, and even sumo put their art to the test. The events took place all around the world, and the rule set was intricate, but in comparison to any other grappling sports at the time, it was simple enough and was all about promoting takedowns and submissions. The format of a match followed a 10-minute no points period, followed by a 5-minute overtime with points awarded for sweeps and takedowns if the match didn't come to a submission conclusion. Aside from other minor changes that have taken place over the years, no submissions are banned and competitors are placed in a weight bracket with other people around their size, with the goal to duke it out for a shiny gold medal, a nice big paycheck, and the title of best submission fighter in the world. In 2022, ADCC now has top to bottom the most stacked divisions of all time. Today, in comparison to the inaugural event, ADCC really hasn't changed all that much, except that the event takes place every other year and the competitors train primarily in wrestling and submissions. As any sport does, grappling has come a long way with technical improvements and strategic evolution for the people involved. For example, at the most recent ADCC events, there have been a major increase in the variety of leg locks and heel hooks in particular. In 2019, there were 5 finishes by inside heel hook, and it was one of the most popular moves in the tournament, as opposed to back in the early days of the event where that move would barely have been seen much at all. In reality, ADCC has created a professional environment out of the grappling scene that's still in its infancy, which is why the landscape is changing so rapidly. If you think about it, the first Abu Dhabi Combat Club only took place 24 years ago, which is nothing in comparison to a sport like boxing, where the professional competition scene can be dated back to the late 1600s, and today the sport comes down primarily to physicality. You would never see a 250-pound boxer taking on a 170-pound boxer like you do at ADCC in submission fighting. Because the sport is so young, there's so much excitement and development that's happening in any given match, which is why these events are so special and will be looked back as significant moments in the history of the sport. Year over year, the competition at the trials and championship events has evolved a ton, and the competitors have gotten light years better at all levels because they're striving to be a champion for the very legitimate prize money that's now offered at the tournament, along with the life-changing accolades that go with it. Winning ADCC will make you a hot commodity on the seminar circuit, increase your demand for instructional content, put your gym on the map, and overall skyrocket your brand. Because the prize has evolved, the competitors have evolved, and the grapplers at this event are much more professional than ever before, taking part in rigorous training, studying, dieting, and live the same dedicated lifestyle of any pro athlete in the UFC, NFL, NBA, or other top leagues in the world. You won't find any athlete in any of these weight classes that hasn't proven that they're one of the best on earth today. At the 2022 World Championships, the youngest champion of all time could emerge. It seems that each year the athletes at the events are getting younger and younger, and 22 is no different, with 4 teenagers taking place for the first time ever. Back just 2 ADCCs ago, Nicky Ryan, younger brother of Gordon Ryan, made his debut and became the youngest competitor of all time at the championships, an incredible accomplishment despite losing his first and only match. The very next event saw 16-year-old Tairu Otola, who far exceeded all expectations and made it to the semi-finals with a trailblazing performance, especially when you consider he was 4 years younger than the youngest champion in ADCC history, Rafa Mendes and Kira Gracie, who did so at barely 20 years old. The youngest competitor at the 2022 event will be Cole Abate, who happens to be the prodigy of the record-holding Rafa Mendes and believes Cole has what it takes to break his record in the under 66 kg division. 2 more young competitors in the under 77 kg division are also no strangers to fighting older opponents, being trial winners, and those are 18-year-old Mika Galvao and 19-year-old Cade Ruotolo, who also have the potential to break the record. Finally, Tai Ruotolo will be making his second ADCC championship appearance, 2 divisions heavier than the first time in the under 88 kilogram division. And given that he's also Cade's twin brother, he's also 19 years old at this event. One of the biggest storylines is Gordon Ryan, who has the potential to win 2 very different medals for the first time ever at this event. Traditionally, when somebody wins the open class no weight limit division at ADCC, in 2 years at the next event, they're entered into what's called the ADCC Super Fight against the previous Super Fight winner. And for the last 4 years in a row, Andre Galvao has been the holder of the Super Fight throne, beating all 4 of the open class winners. In last ADCC in 2019, Gordon Ryan won both the under 99 kilogram division and the open class, getting him 2 gold medals. So naturally, he's supposed to be the next challenger for the Super Fight Championship, but Gordon is flipping that structure on its head.
Thank you. I have one question for you guys. In my opinion, the Super Fight is easier than the division. So who wants to see me in the 2021 Super Fight and the weight division?
Instead, he'll be competing in the over 99 kilogram division and the Super Fight at ADCC 2022 for the first time in the history of the sport. To succeed in his goal, Gordon will have to beat the biggest opponents he's ever faced in the 3rd weight division he's competed in, as well as taking out the legend and the most decorated ADCC grappler of all time, Andre Galvao, who he happens to have quite a history with.
You got to mind me if you push me. I will beat the fuck out of you in front of everybody in this room. Keep talking.
ADCC 2022 has the biggest production value in the history of the event. For the 2nd year in a row, the event will be taking place at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's no secret that 2019 was the biggest and most glamorous grappling event of all time. But now in 2022, the ADCC Championships has the biggest financial backing in history, with massive sponsorships from the Joe Rogan Experience, Prime Hydration, One Championship, Bitcoin Cash, and many, many more. The event was already shaping up to be enormous, but with the delay in 2021 due to the pandemic, it gave Mo Jassim and the ADCC team a whole nother year of planning that theoretically can only make the production even more bulletproof. The spectacle will be bigger and better than ever, and I'll be there providing as much behind the scenes as I can, so make sure to subscribe if you're a grappling fan. Here are my predictions for who to keep an eye on and who will win at ADCC. At under 66 kilograms, I think Kennedy Maciel is the favorite in this division because he got so close last time despite not having the most impressive run since that performance. This time, I think it's a young man's bracket. Forget the Gary Tonins, the Gio Martinez, and the AJ Agazarms. I think the hungry young lions are the ones to watch. In fact, I'm thinking the 3 youngest competitors have the best odds here, being Colabate and the 2 Manaus Savages, Fabricio Andre and Diogo Hayes. And honestly, I think I've got Diogo Baby Shark Hayes taking this one home.
It's good. I'm very happy.
Under 77 kilograms has to be one of the most stacked divisions of all time. The returning champion, JT Toros, will have his hands full with ADCC newcomers like Mika Galvao, Cade Ruotolo, Roberto Jimenez, Tommy Langecker, William Tackett, and PJ Barch, all of who I could see winning at this weight. Although he's been super dominant in the past few ADCCs, I think it's hard to pick Torres when he's barely competed whatsoever over the last 3 years, and all of his competitors have been super active on the scene. I think this is the hardest division to call, but I think I'm going to go off the board and pick Nicky Ryan to get the win. Although he's been relatively disappointing in the past 2 ADCC competitions, I think he's grown into his body as he's gotten older and looks incredibly sharp and technical in his recent matches and training footage. At under 88 kilograms, Mateus Diniz will be looking to return and defend his 2019 title, and I think he'll cruise on through until he runs into Tai Ruotolo or Isaac Michel. These 2 have dominated the IBJJF and Who's Number 1 scene all year, and will be his biggest threats in my opinion. The division is honestly also pretty stacked, and I could really see it going many different ways, but I think these 2 guys have what it takes to drag guys into deep waters and outwork some of the stallier guys in the division. I'm just going to go out on a limb and pick Isaac Michel to win at 88 kilograms. As the divisions get heavier, they really get less and less close in my opinion, and I could really only see maybe 4 to 5 guys winning at under 99 kilograms. Craig Jones moving up is very interesting to me, and honestly, I would not be surprised if he could get it done over the bigger guys, even though he's a notorious second place finisher. But my wildcard pick to win it all is Nicholas Marigali, who's looked unbelievable so far in his first 3 no-gi matches of his career this year. On the feet and off his back, he's got a complete game and has the great mind of John Danaher in his corner. With all this momentum, I could see him riding his way into an ADCC title. At over 99 kilograms, it's obviously just about Gordon Ryan versus Felipe Pena. Other guys like Victor Hugo, Nicky Rod, and Cyborg just won't come near these guys in my opinion, and all the eyes will be on them for their 4th meeting on the mats, especially after the bad taste in our mouths after the previous match. I've got Gordon taking it, and probably the super fight too for that matter. I don't see him wrestling with Andre, and I think he'll pull guard, but I think he'll play for a finish harder than we've seen him do lately, just because he doesn't have the unlimited time limit, and he seems to be really wanting this win for a very long time. I could even see him switching up what he's been doing lately and go back to the old school leg locks that he loves. The under 60 kilogram ladies division is another very competitive one, and to me it's a 5-dog race. The Brazilian veterans Bianca Basilio and Beatriz Mesquita are used to winning, but I think their days have finally passed. The newcoming Brazilian Maísa Bastos seems like one to keep your eye on, but to me, I think she'll just be too small in comparison to some of these other girls. I think it's going to come down to Brianna St. Marie and Fionn Davies, and I'll be picking Fionn with her experience, who might just have the strategic edge over the dangerous submission hunter Brianna St. Marie, who I could see being one of the most exciting competitors at the entire event. For the over 60 kilogram division, I think we'll finally see the title leave Gabby Garcia's hands, and I've got Rafaela Geddes winning in dominant fashion. Wow, I guess I really didn't pick any returning champions. Anyways, that's going to end this preview, and I'm so excited to see how everything plays out. I'm lucky enough to be heading down to Las Vegas for the event, and I'm going to be trying to make an absolute division prediction as soon as that's posted, along with any videos of behind the scenes stuff that I can get, so make sure to subscribe and check out my TikTok page for more of those.